This is inviting major transformation to your perception of authority, your perception of the past, your perception of intimacy. So what is it that you want to transform about your thought process, about the way that you communicate? This is powerful. Ride this wave. Ride it. Lean into it. Lean into the transformations that are occurring. And you'll know that they're occurring because you're going to experience the conflict. Maybe it's an internal conflict, but most likely there's going to be conflicts that are existing outside of you, if not directly to you, that are inviting the transformation, inviting you to take a deeper look at your past and how you want to transform the way that you view your past.
Welcome to the Weekly Transit, a podcast exploring the intersection of Western astrology and Jungian psychology. Astrology is a language that communicates how the planets and stars influence life on Earth, while psychology helps us navigate both conscious and unconscious experiences. Together, these tools offer the potential for self-understanding, growth, and transformation. Join astrologer Scott Tajarian and me, psychotherapist Gabriella Durso, as we dive into the cosmic forecast each week.
Welcome to the Weekly Transit, and thank you for joining us. If you enjoy our content and want to support the podcast, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, liking our videos, and leaving a comment or question. You can also rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, or if you'd like to donate, you can do so through Spotify or DonorBox. The links to do so are in the show notes. Gabriella and I truly appreciate your engagement. It helps us tailor our content to your interest and grow our community by reaching new listeners. The theme this week is bold, honest vulnerability. As we highlight the new moon in Scorpio, Mercury's transit into Sagittarius, and Mars's transit into Leo. Of course, if you're curious to learn how any of the following transits are affecting you directly and how you can work with the cosmic energy to navigate your way successfully, you can contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. Welcome. As you can see, if you are watching on YouTube or Spotify, that it's just me this week. Not to worry, Gabriella is not sick. Again, she's on the mend, but she's has a very full week at work this week, so hopefully she'll be back next week. No promises. It's always great to have Gabriella here, but if she's not able to be here, then it's just me and you, of course, and it's great to be here with you as we cover the week of October 28th to November 3rd. So let's get right into it, because this is a very full week where we will be highlighting the new moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Sagittarius, and Mars in Leo. Of course, there is this overarching transit that we've been talking about since mid-September. Jupiter in Gemini, Chiron in Aries, both aligning with each other. Jupiter is expansion. Gemini is communication. So Jupiter is expanding communication, our conscious awareness, our connection to connecting with others and thoughts and ideas. So Jupiter is aligning with Chiron, which is the wound, and the ancient wisdom, which is unlocked through healing that wound. Chiron is transiting through Aries, where it has been since March of 2019. And it's urging us to take a look, or focusing our attention on our insecurities, our fears, our inauthenticities. And so with Jupiter aligning with Chiron, it's expanding our conscious awareness in terms of what we are afraid of. This alignment is occurring from September 15th until November 28th, and it's occurring for the first time since 1870. Now, there is a key aspect coming up this week that we will discuss in the tail end of the episode that involves Venus in Sagittarius, which will be aligning with both Jupiter and Chiron. We'll get to that a little bit later because that happens at the end of the week. But to start the week, let's talk about Mars, which is the planetary ruler of Aries, but Mars is transiting through Cancer. So Mars is the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, and conflict. And we closed out last week's episode talking about Mars because Mars was making several aspects, one to Uranus, another to Neptune, and moving towards making an aspect with Pluto, which happens a little bit later this week, but we've already been feeling this since last week. So these three outer planets, we've talked about them in the weeks past several times. Let's continue to talk about them because they're making a lot of noise. This is Uranus, the planet of revolution, the planet of rebellion, innovation, independence, the unexpected. Transiting through Taurus, the fixed earth sign symbolized by the bull, representing the material. Self-worth, values, your likes and dislikes. So Uranus is revolutionizing your relationship to the material, your self-worth, and your values. This has been occurring since 2019 as well, when Uranus moved into Taurus, but it's been since early September that Uranus has been aligning very strongly with Neptune and Pluto. Neptune, the planet of illusion, deception, compassion, intuition, the planet of dreams and fantasies, is transiting through the sign that it rules, the mutable water sign symbolized by the fish, Pisces. Neptune has been transiting through Pisces since 2011, 2012. And as I said just a minute ago, since early September, has been in strong alignment with Uranus in Taurus. So that's the second piece. The third piece, and we're gonna describe what these all mean together, individually, and how to work with this energy. It's an incredibly transformative period. Pluto, the planet of transformation, transiting through the cardinal earth sign symbolized by the goat, Capricorn. Pluto's been transiting through Capricorn since 0809. And these last couple of years, this year and last year, Pluto transited into Aquarius and then back into Capricorn. It's right now concluding its final spin or transit through Capricorn until November 19th. Once November 19th hits, Pluto's going to transit into Aquarius, and then it's in Aquarius for the next 20 years, and it doesn't return to Capricorn until 2254. It's another 230 some years or so. So we're getting a real opportunity to take advantage of the frequencies that are being bestowed to us. And so when you look at these three planets transiting through these signs together, what you're getting is a reimagination of your unconscious. That's Neptune and Pisces. It's reimagining the dream. So facing the guilt, the shame, the regret, the blame that exists within you with compassion and love, so you can integrate those thought patterns and memories with understanding and forgiveness for yourself, and pulling back and seeing the big picture and thinking about your life and all the horrible things that you've done and forgiving yourself for them. Because when you pull back and you can see the full mandala, it's beautiful. When you zoom in and you look at one little piece, it doesn't look like much. It might even look ugly. But when you pull back and you see the full picture, you see the beauty of it all. So it's about recognizing that the experiences that you've had in life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, are the experiences that you needed to have in order to grow, that you're here to learn, you're here to grow, you're here to evolve. And if you're holding something over your head with guilt and shame, then you are perpetuating that punishment, that frequency in perpetuity. So in order to release yourself of that punishment, pull back and see the big picture and understand that whatever it is you did, whatever's causing you to feel guilt, shame, regret, or blame, it was not only in your highest good, but in the highest good of those that you affected. That somehow, some way down the line, even if you harm somebody in a horrible way, that they hopefully have experienced growth through the interaction that they had with you, and that they are able to see that even though the interaction that they had with you was unpleasurable, it was awful, they're better off for it somehow. And when you're from that, when your perspective is shifted in that way, then you are able to really invite the dreams and the fantasies that you desire into your life. Now, Neptune is aligning with Uranus, and so Uranus and Taurus, we talked about that a minute ago. Uranus and Taurus, that's revolutionizing your self-worth and values. So when you are able to reimagine the dream of the guilt, the shame, the regret, the blame into compassion and love and forgiveness, then you're able to revolutionize your self-worth and values, because suddenly you realize that, wow, I'm actually worth more than I've been giving myself credit for. I've been really hard on myself. I've been putting myself down because of the guilt, shame, regret, and blame, and I've been devaluing myself. Now that I've forgiven myself through love and understanding and taking that big picture approach, now I'm elevating my self-worth. I recognize that I deserve more. And once you recognize that you deserve more, that's where the Pluto in Capricorn piece comes into play, because that's transforming your relationship to authority, as well as your relationship to yourself as an authority and your goals and ambitions. When you've revolutionized your self-worth and values because you've reimagined the dream from guilt and shame to forgiveness and love, then you can transform your goals and ambitions and say, I actually have been aiming too low. I deserve more out of life. I deserve more. I am worthy of more. I am worthy of accepting my self-worth and values and the authority that I have over my own life. I'm taking responsibility for the guilt, the shame, the regret, the blame. I'm owning that. I'm saying, I did that, and I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for love from the universe and from those that I potentially harmed. And through that forgiveness, revolutionizing self-worth, transforming goals and ambitions. And this is where Mars comes in. Because Mars is in a very exciting place, though perhaps challenging place right now, because Mars is transiting through Cancer, the cardinal water sign symbolized by the crab, and ruled by the moon, the planet of emotions. This is the sign that represents the past. It represents your roots, your upbringing, your childhood, the ones who raised and nurtured you. It represents your ancestors, your ancestry. So when the god of war transits through the sign of the past, it's pulling up something from the past. It is churning up the past. It's churning up the past. So what is coming up from the past that you need to reconcile? So as we're navigating the unconscious with Neptune and Pisces and the guilt, the shame, the regret, the blame, where does this stem from? As you're revolutionizing your self-worth and your values, look around. What do you see in your life? What are the experiences that you're having in your life right now that are less than desirable? If you're having experiences in your life right now that are less than desirable, then there is something that is being awakened within your unconscious that you need to become aware of. And as you're awakened to what is coming up from your unconscious that you need to be aware of. You're also being called with Mars in Cancer to delve into your past. Where does this come from? Where do these unconscious thoughts stem from? Does it stem from an experience that I had in my childhood? Does it stem from a frequency that's been passed down to me from my parents? Or even deeper, does it stem from a frequency that's passed down through my ancestry? Whatever it is, we need to move towards it. We need to take action to pay attention to the sensitivity that exists within our emotional nature. And through that, it's having the courage to make peace with the past, as we've been talking about for weeks with Mars transiting through Cancer. Now this week, Mars aligns with Uranus. That is from last Sunday, or actually from, this past Sunday, October 20th, to this next Sunday, October 27th, with an exact sextile occurring on Thursday, October 24th. I mean, I'm dealing with like space and time here. So it actually, so this is the week of October 28th. So this was last week, but it's still carrying into this week. So we're still getting the remnants of this week with Mars sextile Uranus. So it's from last Sunday, the 20th, to this most recent Sunday, the 27th, and the exact sextile was last Thursday, October 24th. We're still feeling that revolution to our self-worth and values in reflection upon our past. Now, the next transit is Mars in Cancer forming a trine, which is another supportive aspect, a water-water connection with Neptune, which is retrograde in Pisces. This is from last Wednesday, October 23rd, to this Wednesday, October 30th, with an exact trine occurring on Monday, October 28th. So this is giving you the courage to delve within your unconscious and connect the dots to where these unconscious thoughts stem from within your past or your ancestry. Are there conflicts occurring in your home or within your family dynamics? These conflicts that are occurring within your home or family dynamics are meant to bring up these unconscious thoughts that need to become conscious in your awareness. And through that consciousness, it's about you taking the action to delve into your past to discern where they come from. And once you've learned where they come from, then you have the ability to take action to make peace with the past. Now, the third and the fourth transits of the week also involve Uranus and Neptune. But this is Uranus and Neptune aligning with Mercury in Scorpio. So we talked about at the top of the episode how we're going to be highlighting Mercury's transit into Sagittarius and Mars's transit into Leo. Both of these planets, Mars and Mercury, as they complete the last few degrees of Cancer for Mars and Scorpio for Mercury, they align with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So Mercury in Scorpio opposes Uranus retrograde in Taurus from Tuesday to Thursday, with the exact opposition occurring on Wednesday, October 30th. This is a tense aspect. It's an opposition. The tension is between the conscious awareness that you have within your karmic bonds and the revolution that is occurring within your self-worth and values. You are being awakened to the perspective of how you merge power with others. And through that awakening, you are being called to enact the revolution of your self-worth and values, which means that you're going to need to transform how you think or communicate within your intimate bonds. This could be as simple as, you're in a disagreement with a lover or a business partner or somebody that you share secrets with. And perhaps the tension is calling your attention to your self-worth and values. Are you being valued by the ones that you are bonded to? Are you being valued by the ones that you are intimate with? Is your self-worth being respected in the way that you desire in your intimate bonds? If not, then you need to transform the way that you are communicating with those that you're bonded to. So think about that for a moment. Are you respecting those that you're bonded to? Are you respecting the values of those that you're intimate with? If not, then you also need to transform the way that you are communicating with those that you are bonded to so that you can be more respectful of them. Helping lubricate this challenge, this transit challenge, and it's a transit, it's a challenging transit. The opposition between Mercury and Uranus is Mercury's aspect to Neptune in Pisces. So as Mars is aligning with Neptune in Pisces from Cancer, Mercury is aligning with Neptune in Pisces from Scorpio. This is creating a grand trine, where you have these three planets in water signs that are all aligning with each other. So Mercury forms a trine with Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 27 degrees from Wednesday to Friday, October 30th to November 1st, with the exact trine occurring on Thursday, October 31st. So that's interesting because it's Dios de los Muertos and Halloween, and this is Mercury in the sign of magic, Scorpio, and Neptune in the sign of mysticism, Pisces. So this is helping bring conscious awareness to your intuition, your psychic abilities, the ethereal realm. You're able to maybe even see through your psychic awareness the connection between yourself and those that you're bonded to. And through being able to see that connection, bring that element of compassion and empathy to those that you're bonded to in order to invite the reflection from them, compassion and empathy towards you. This is going to occur through deep conversations. It's Halloween, Dios de los Muertos. Let's have some deep conversations. Let's discuss the dead, those who have passed over. Let's invite their memory and pay respect, pay homage to the energy that they've passed down to us, our family members. There's part of this frequency that we want to transform about the past with our family, but there's some of the family traits that have been passed down that are so important, that are still worthy of keeping around because they've kept the family safe and secure and also invited that sense of mysticism or mystery or deep connectedness that we experienced to those that we're in familial relationships with. So speak compassionately about those that came before you. And as we are releasing and transforming the negative energies that have been passed down to us from our family, let's also invite empathy for the experiences that they had. Because it's through those experiences that we trust that they did the best they could do. We did not live through the same experiences that they lived through. So for us to judge them based on our experiences versus their experiences is not fair to them or to yourself. So on Halloween, Dios de los Muertos, take a note to show compassion to your family, to your ancestors, to share in deep thought, in the memories of those who came before you, to thank them for the path that they laid out before you, even if that path was rocky and treacherous. Let's do our best to pay them respects, and in doing so, being able to release the frequencies that they pass down to us, especially the ones that we want to release, we'll be able to release them with love. Early the next morning, on November 1st, at 5:48 a.m., is the new moon in Scorpio at 9 degrees. Now, if you're listening to this, I'd like to invite you to enroll in my moon cycle classes to learn how this new moon and the full moon in Taurus will be affecting you directly. The classes are small, they're intimate. It's usually 8 people or less. And it's in those classes that we will get deep into your astrological code, where this new moon will be affecting you and how you can best work with the energy to your benefit. You can enroll in the classes at theweeklytransit.com. Now, this new moon in Scorpio, which occurs early Friday morning, November 1st at 5:48 a.m. Pacific time, is at 9 degrees. Looking at the Sabian symbols for Scorpio, this degree is a fellowship supper that reunites old comrades, representing community, reconnection, shared experiences, and emotional bonding. So it's about getting deep. We're setting our intentions to really be discerning about who do you want to connect with? Who do you want to be intimate with? Who are the people that honor, reflect, and respect your values? Who are the people that leave you feeling lifted rather than drained after the exchange? Is there anybody in your life who is draining you? Is there anybody in your life who you are draining? It is through this new moon that you will be called to set your intentions to transform those bonds so that they will either end or they will be transformed into one where you are feeling lifted and they are feeling lifted rather than the two of you feeling drained. Even if it seems impossible, remember, Scorpio is the sign of magic. And so the magic here is that even in the deepest, darkest, most intense situation, there can be beautiful transformation. In degree theory developed by astrologer Nicholas Stojanovic, the 9th degree is associated with Sagittarius energy, signifying freedom, exploration, optimism, higher learning, and seeking the truth. So during this new moon in Scorpio, we are setting our intentions to see the truth of our intimate bonds so that we can feel free. Free to be ourselves, free to explore our relationships intimately, vulnerably, with that sense of optimism. So set your intentions to seek the truth in your intimate bonds so that you can truly feel free in recognizing who you are with and in being recognized by those you are with in return. Now, if you're unfamiliar, now there's 3 stars, fixed stars, that are aligning with this new moon. This is a very powerful new moon. 3 fixed stars. There is Alhina in Cancer, Faces in Capricorn, and Scat in Pisces. Alhina is derived from the Arabic word al Hanaha, meaning the brand or the mark, representing spiritual or creative talents and the potential for public recognition or influence through artistic expression and communication. So as you're setting your intentions during this new moon in Scorpio, you're setting your intentions to merge power and bond with those who can stimulate your spiritual and creative talents so that you can be recognized outside of your Scorpion cave. So set your intentions to bond with those who are stimulating your creative talents, that are encouraging your creative talents. Facies is derived from the Latin word face and is located on the face of the archer, particularly or specifically in the nebula of the Eye of the Centaur, which is the symbol for Sagittarius. Now, of course, this is, when you're talking about Western astrology, Facies is at 8 to 10 degrees in Capricorn, even though in the sidereal calculations, it is in the Centaur of Sagittarius, which is the archer. But this is the star that's associated with harshness and struggle, which are frequencies of Capricorn, because it's a struggle for the goat to get from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain. It represents focus, perseverance, and the need to overcome adversity, all elements of Capricorn. In order for the goat to climb to the top of the mountain, it must focus on where it is stepping. It must persevere through the challenge of climbing up and maybe falling down a ledge or two and then climbing back up again. That is the essence of overcoming adversity. When you fall down, will you get up? So in thinking about this new moon in Scorpio and the aspect to Facies, you want to set your intentions to merge power or bond with those who are with you in the struggle. These are your ride or die. The people that are with you through the good, the bad, the ugly, the up and the down, the difficult situations, they're with you. Who are those people? Set your intentions to bond with those that you can count on. And then finally, Scat it's also known as Delta Aquarii and is derived from the Arabic word al-sak, meaning the shin or leg, representing good fortune, stability, protection, all of which is necessary for providing hope and a steady foundation. So again, this is about creating that foundation within your unconscious that is based in hope, the belief that it is through these bonds that I'm setting my intentions for, that I will be connected to those who are going to help me elevate and bring my dreams into fruition. So again, I hope this is helpful for you, this new moon in Scorpio, and all the symbolism that's involved with this new moon in Scorpio. There's a real opportunity here for you to transform how you're bonding with others in a way that is beneficial to yourself and the goals and ambitions that you've laid out before you, so that you will shine brightly in the darkness. Continuing on, Mercury. We're back with Mercury, making those last few aspects or last couple aspects through Scorpio, aligning with Mars in Cancer. As we mentioned earlier, it would be in that grand trine with Neptune, but it's from October 31st to November 2nd, Thursday to Saturday, that Mercury is most closely aligned with Mars in Cancer, forming an exact trine on Saturday, November 2nd, while Mercury also forms a sextile, a supportive aspect to Pluto in Capricorn at the final degree from October 31st to November 2nd, Thursday to Saturday, with the exact sextile on Saturday, November 2nd. So we've got this really wild aspect here where you've got Mercury aligning with Neptune in a trine, which is aligning to Cancer in a trine, which is aligning to Mercury in a trine, while Mercury is forming a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn, which is opposing Cancer, which is opposing Mars in Cancer. So these four planets are all connecting with each other. The Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn is the most tense. That one is occurring from October 28th to November 3rd, Monday to Saturday. That's all week long, with the exact opposition occurring on Saturday, October 3rd. So my question is, what is going to pop? What is going to pop? There's some type of tension occurring here. So what is popping in your life or in the world? This is the god of war, Mars, opposing the god of death, Pluto. I mean, you can't think of much more tension than these two aligning with each other. I mean, case in point, you go back to when Mars was squaring Mars in Libra was squaring Pluto in Capricorn. That's when everything broke out in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas. The day that all went down, the first day, was Mars in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So Mars opposing Pluto is maybe not as intense, but it's still really intense. So what we're looking at here is, what is it that we want to transform about our past? You can't change the past, but what you can change is your perception of the past. So if the past is torturing you, what is it that you need to transform about your past in terms of how you view the past? With Mercury transiting through Scorpio, the sign of secrets, sex, intimacy, transformation, aligning with Pluto, the planet of transformation, the planetary ruler of Scorpio. Mars is the other planetary ruler of Scorpio. So both Mars and Pluto, the two planetary rulers of Scorpio, are both aligning with Mercury in Scorpio. This is inviting major transformation to your perception. Your perception of authority, your perception of the past, your perception of intimacy. So what is it that you want to transform about your thought process, about the way that you communicate? This is powerful. Ride this wave. Ride it. Lean into it. Lean into the transformations that are occurring. And you'll know that they're occurring because you're gonna experience the conflict. Maybe it's an internal conflict, but most likely there's going to be conflicts that are existing outside of you, if not directly to you, that are inviting the transformation, inviting you to take a deeper look at your past and how you want to transform the way that you view your past. And then on November 2nd, Saturday, the same day, or Friday, Saturday? Yeah, okay. I think I said Mars in Cancer was opposing Pluto in Capricorn on Saturday, November 3rd. I meant Sunday, November 3rd, because it's on Saturday that Mercury transits into Sagittarius, and it's on Sunday that Mars transits into Leo. So first, Mercury in Sagittarius. So we're going to experience this transformation to our mind. And through that transformation to our mind, our perception of the past, it's hopefully going to set our mind free, because that's what Sagittarius is about. It's about the dream. It's about the future. Or Sagittarius is the archer, and the archer is Katniss Everdeen. Robin Hood, freedom-loving individuals that don't want anyone to tell them where to go, how to think, what to do, what to say. They know the difference between right or wrong, and they want the freedom to explore far and wide so they can expand their minds, deepen their philosophical view, and speak their truth. And the truth is going to be coming out in a major way starting on Saturday, November 2nd. Because once you've had that transformation to the way that you view your past or your intimate bonds, it's going to tear the filter off your mouth and you're going to start speaking the truth. And this is the tone for the next 2+ months, because that's right, you guessed it, Mercury is going to be retrograde in Sagittarius. So typically where Mercury would be transiting through a sign for about 3 weeks, it's going to transit through Sagittarius from November 2nd to January 8th of 2025. Mercury will enter its retrograde shadow on November 7th. So next week, it begins its retrograde on November 25th. The retrograde ends on December 15th. And Mercury transits out of its retrograde shadow on January 2nd. So during that period, words are going to be flying. And there may be some regret about what you say while Mercury is in Sagittarius, but then you're also going to be like, you know what? Maybe I wish I didn't say it that way, but I said what needed to be said. And I said what needed to be heard. But just be mindful that as you're speaking your truth, you're going to be inviting everyone around you to speak their truth as well. And just as you may be launching arrows at them, they may be launching them back at you. This is the fire frequency. Fire frequency. Just think back. Okay, the last times that Mercury transited through Sagittarius was December 22nd, 2023 to January 13th, 2024. That's when Mercury was just transited back from 29 degrees to 22 degrees in Sagittarius, and then forward again through the last 8 degrees of Sagittarius from 22 to 29. November 9th to December 1st of 2023 was the last time Mercury transited all the way through the sign of Sagittarius. The time before that was November 17th to December 6th, 2022. And then November 24th to December 13th, 2021 before that. So think back to these dates for clues on what could be in store for you this time around as the planet of consciousness, conversation, communication, connectivity transits through the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. For those of you with key astrological points in Virgo or Pisces, you're going to be pushed out of your comfort zone. Things are going to be said to you that are maybe painful, and you may be saying things that are painful to others because you're trying to find what is the line between truth and hurtfulness, because we want the truth to set us free rather than the truth hurting, but it may be a combination of both. Helping facilitate this frequency forward is Venus. We mentioned at the top of the show how Jupiter in Gemini aligning with Chiron and Aries was going to align with Venus in Sagittarius. So Mercury joins Venus in the mutable fire sign symbolized by the archer or centaur. Venus is forming an opposition to Jupiter and a trine, a supportive aspect to Chiron in Aries. So one stressful, the opposition, one supportive, the trine. The stressful aspect with Venus and Jupiter is maybe you're asking questions that you've been afraid to ask. Very honest, open, direct questions. Ooh, wow, I can't believe you asked that question to your partner, to your lover, to your friend. Okay, you asked that question, now I'm going to give you the answer. Ooh, wow, that hurts. Or I'm glad I finally know this. I've been wanting to finally know the truth. The alignment with Chiron is helping us face our fears in discovering the truth. Are we afraid of the truth? Are you afraid of the truth? What are the questions that you are afraid to ask because you're afraid that if you ask them, you're going to get an answer that you don't want to hear? Now is that time. These alignments are occurring from Friday to Monday, November 1st to the 4th, with the exact aspects occurring on Sunday, November 3rd. So what is the truth that you want to uncover in your close personal relationships? What is the truth that you want to uncover about your self-worth and your values and the values of those that you're connected to? What are you most afraid of in uncovering the truth? Now is the time to lean into that frequency. As Mars, the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, confidence, and courage, transits into the bold fixed fire sign symbolized by the lion, Leo. Mars's transit through Leo will be from November 3rd to January 6th. So about the same amount of time that Mercury is transiting through Sagittarius, November 2nd to January 8th, Mars is transiting through Leo from November 3rd to January 6th, except this transit from November 3rd to January 6th is only the first 6 degrees of Leo because Mars begins its retrograde transit in Leo on December 6th. Mars moved into its retrograde shadow back on October 4th. It's 17 degrees in Cancer. December 6th is when the retrograde begins. It's 6 degrees in Leo. February 23rd is when Mars retrograde ends. On February 23rd, it's 17 degrees in Cancer. And Mars exits its retrograde shadow on May 1st of 2025. Now, the last time Mars transited through Leo was May 20th to July 10th, 2023, July 29th to September 4th, 2021, and August 14th to October 3rd, 2019. Think back to those dates for clues on what could be in store for you this time around as Mars transits through the sign of the lion. You're going to roar with your actions. People are going to roar with their actions. And I'm just thinking about all of this happening around the presidential election. And, I don't really like to get into politics. And, if you want to know more about the election, you can listen into the recording I did with Delisa Hawking on YouTube. But I'm just thinking about how right around the election, Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius. Mars is going to be in Leo. Mercury is going to be almost retrograde, or almost transiting into its retrograde shadow. There's a lot of expressive energy. It's like everything is kind of subdued right now. But starting on November 2nd, November 3rd, something's going to bust. Something's going to come out. Some sort, fire. This is fire. And then the opposition with Mars and Pluto leading up to this point. So I just ask you, what actions do you want to take that would be considered bold? And bold in the expression of your heart. Bold in the sense of joy. In the sense of laughter, fun, jovialness. Mars in Leo is encouraging you to have fun, while Mercury in Sagittarius is encouraging you to speak openly, honestly. So let's hope that these two transits bring open, honest communication and bold, joyful action. Because we have done the work to transform the way that we view our past, to make peace with our past, to see the past from a different perspective that is no longer burdening our present, our gift of the here and now. Once we have released that burden and transformed how we view the past, now we can speak honestly, openly, and we can have fun, boldly, confidently, courageously. And so I hope this is helpful to you. I encourage you to really work with these transits through the week. They are very powerful and they are meant to be empowering to you. Thank you for listening to the weekly transit. If you're curious to learn how these transits or any other transits may be affecting you, or if you're interested in learning more about your astrological code, contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. If you're interested in delving into the world of psychotherapy with Gabriella, you can schedule a consultation with her at gabrieladurso.com. That's GabriellaDurso.com. Support for the podcast can be done through a monthly contribution on Spotify, rating us 5 stars, subscribing to our channel on YouTube, or writing a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. We are grateful for your support. This episode was produced by me, Scott Tajarian. Music written by Ben Leinbach from Listen Deep by Amber Herzog-Lyman. Wishing you all the best as you ride the planetary waves.